Hi, my name is Verdesoto, and I'm an implementation consultant for Subsplash. Now, you might be thinking about getting Subsplash to manage your website, your app, or maybe both. But you might be a little bit nervous about learning a new system, about having to build a website on your own, about having to build an app which you've never done. This can be, an anxious time. Well, we have a solution for you, and it's called implementation consulting. And what that is, it's a hand-holding program to get you launched quickly using the platform effectively. So what we do is, we like to say, is we build the house for you so that you can come on in and decorate. We're going to make a personalized, specific template for you with placeholder images, placeholder text, so that you can so it works and functions exactly as your website should, but you just need to go in and just double click and add in the images and the text that you want in there. But for all intents and purpose, it works as though it's your website built specifically for you. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that I've done. We're going to build you an app. We're going to build you a website. So let's jump into the website first and see, the process that I go through when I'm working with a new implementation client like you. So let's take a look at this site. This is for Hope Fellowship, and you can see that the client has already updated a lot of the information in here, right? They've already gone in and they've put in, their name. They've added their videos. They've added some information about their locations and their messages, and used their photos and things like that so that they can communicate. My job was to make sure that all of this stuff was here for them so that they could update their information. But if we take a look at one of their other pages, like staff, you can see that they haven't updated this page yet. And so what I did is I made sure that each of these buttons were here and worked to show their different location, pastors and staff. But I added in these placeholders so that they could go in and edit the page. Now let's take a look at how you'd actually do that. As we jump over to the dashboard, you can see the client's actually working on it right now, and they're adding in their photos. But you can see that they didn't need this additional fourth one. What I like to do when we're working on a website for you is create spaces where you can work reductively instead of working additively. And what I mean by that is it's a lot easier to remove the information that you don't need than it is to try and add more and create spaces on your own. And all you need to do to update this information is click on here and click edit. But what's really great about the whole implementation consulting process is that we are going to have phone calls and we're going to meet together so that I can show you exactly what needs to be done. I can hear from you what is important. What do you want to do? What would be a win for your ministry so that when you finally take over the site, that we have a time frame in which I can train you. I can train your stakeholders, the person who's going to be uploading the media, the person who's going to be uploading and working on the website. We're going to go through specific times and show you exactly how to use the website, how to use what I built specifically for you so that you can work effectively and quickly and be up and running and communicating with your community. So now we have the opportunity, right? We looked at a website. Now we can start and we can look over at the app end of things. So let's jump on into that. Here's an app that I built for Greystone, and as you can see down here, my responsibility was to work on these tabs. And so what we did, just like with the website, is I met and I talked with the client, with you, and we talk about what things are important for you to have to communicate in your app. And then I go and I create these spaces, these tabs, so that they have the spaces and the lists that will show all of this content for you. Now, when we go into something like a location, you can see I've designed it in a way so that no matter which location we go into, they all have a certain aesthetic, a certain feel about them that makes them look the same way. So we have that discussion to make sure that your app will look the right way. And what this client did is I created these spaces, and then they came in and created the art in here and upload it. It was a very, very simple process. And of course, I held their hand and I helped them understand what sizes they needed, where they're going to put the stuff, and how it worked. Now, how it works is another dashboard. So if we take a look here, here's the back end of their dashboard. And what I do is I come on in and I create these lists that will manage. All of these lists are what you saw showing up in these in these lists. So like I said, I'll do training to show you exactly how it works so that it's really easy for you to come in and update each week. So when you have a new sermon or you have a new event, all you have to do is jump on in and create those things. Now let's jump into how we would actually do that. If we go into media and on demand, I've created these spaces, a media series like Madness. And what we do is we have these published ones here. And if you take a look over at the app, and we go into media and we click on Madness, right? We can see these things are showing up, and it has a certain design aspect that we are showing, this artwork in. And when we click on something, we can go and we can see exactly what is happening in the app, right? So I'll make sure to create these spaces for you, so that you can easily update them, easily publish them, and give you a real good workflow and understanding on how you should actually use the tool with your ministry so that it's effective for both the back end, your ministry partners and your staff, but also for your congregation and your community. So one of the great things about Subsplash is that your media and your events are going to show up exactly as you've designed them into the app. But what's really cool is that it's also going to show up in your website. So let's jump over there and show you how that works so you can see that. If we go over to Hope Fellowship and we click on media and go to their page, you can see that their most recent item shows up here. And there's a little bit of code that I made sure to put in that when you upload a new video, each week, this one will change. Gave them the space so you could see the app and so people could download that. But then also, here's a place where we can see all of your past sermons and things like that. And it automatically updates. No matter when you put it into the app, it'll automatically show up in your website. So all the person has to do is come and click on it and watch it here. And it'll automatically show on up. This is also true with the events as well. So if we wanted to go to their events page, we can take a look. And when they update it in their app, it also shows up in their events on their page. And all the information shows up no matter if you're using it on the app or on the website. There's no need to go in and put the event in there or put the media item into your website. It'll automatically show up as long as I've set it up for you to work that way. So it's a really great tool. It's a really great system to use. I love Subsplash. I actually started out as a client. That's how I started using Subsplash. My pastor wanted to have an app, and so I built it. And after talking with Subsplash, they were happy with the work that I had done. They asked me if I was willing to help other clients in my situation originally with helping getting implemented and getting up and running and off the ground quickly. So what we'll do to make that happen is we'll have 1-hour meetings to talk about what your ministry is, what your goals are, what would be a win, who your stakeholders are, and what are the things you want to communicate, and then what are the best practices to jump into for your website, which is usually newcomer facing stuff where people who don't know you, that's the first place they're going to go, and then moving over to an app, which is going to be something that is more internal based for the people, for your stakeholders and your community that really care about you and they're willing to download your app. What content can you give them? How can you communicate with them? Things like with push notifications, with in-sermon notes, with messaging. These are all things that, once you're on their device, you have a really great opportunity to connect with your people. And Subsplash is a great opportunity to do that. But like I said in the beginning, it can be a daunting task to try and learn a new system. And that's where implementation consulting comes in. I'm going to hold your hand and make sure that you're successful and that you have the tools that you need so you can jump in, say, yes, this is the exact way I wanted it. Now I just need to put my information into the website, put my information into my app, and it'll be up and running and manageable. You'll be able to use it for years to come because it's designed well, because it's made to use with multiple people. It's made to be used simply because it's a great content management system. So I hope this implementation demo really helped you understand what that product is and how it can help you get up and running quickly and efficiently. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm Verdesoto, and I'm your implementation consultant with Subsplash.